everyone. Join me on a 2-day exciting journey through biodiversity across 3 different sites in Malaysia. Jom. This trip was part of the STAB6003 Biodiversity Conservation and Management subject. This field trip gave us an opportunity to observe the wildlife, plants and real conservation work happening on the ground in Malaysia. Our first stop was Zoo Johor, one of the oldest zoo in Malaysia. It was established in 1928 by the late Sultan Ibrahim. The zoo then closed to renovate in 2020 and reopened since 2024. It is a popular visiting site, but also an important public education space for the families. It exhibits both native and exotic species, from Malayan tigers and tapirs to primate, hornbills and reptiles. Zoo Johor contributes to conservation effort through ex situ protections, where the threatened species are kept under veterinary care, and through public awareness program that teaches the visitors about wildlife protection. The zoo also supports rescue work and temporary holdings of wildlife by working together with state authorities, playing a meaningful role in Malaysia's overall conservation network. The most memorable moment in the zoo was seeing the birds having their time and socializing when it started to rain. Next, we have arrived at the second destination, which is the Royal Botanical Garden of Johor. The Royal Botanical Garden was once a major iron ore mining site from the 1920s until the mining stopped in 1967. The land was restored and later repurposed as a recreational area in 1998, then used as a national nursery in 2000. By 2006, it was transformed into the Royal Botanical Garden of Johor, turning the former mining pits into a replanted botanical garden with lakes that still remind us of its mining history. The garden is a living library of plant diversity, where it preserves a wide range of native species. For example, the garden is home to nibong palm, belinjal and salak fruit species, the herbal malang-malang flower, stands of below hitam bamboo, and large angsana trees. The most exciting moment in the garden was probably seeing the hummingbird-like hawkmoth and the silver-leaf langurs hanging around the tree. Our final destination was the Turtle Conservation and Information Centre in Malacca, a major facility focused on protecting endangered sea turtle through hatchery programs, monitoring and public education. The centre was established under the Fishery Department and was operating since the 1990s in Malacca. As part of our visit, we also participated in CSR activities, where we carried out beach cleaning activity along the beach, removing plastics and debris that would threaten the nursing turtles and hatchlings. We also helped in the hatchery nursery site by digging up unhatched eggs. The centre put in so much effort in the conservation of the sea turtle by relocating eggs to protect hatchery beds, monitor the nesting activity, releasing hatchlings, and educate the public about threats such as poaching, pollution, and coastal development. It was really exciting to see the sea turtle swimming in front of us, especially the 3-month-old hawksbill turtle that was exceptionally cute. First of all, I have a deeper understanding about the crucial role of zoo in ex situ conservation. Through control care, public education and captive breeding, facilities like Zoo Johor help safeguard the genetic diversity of critically endangered species, such as the Malayan tiger, to save them from the edge of extinction. Secondly, I was amazed to discover that the entire 97 hectares of Royal Botanical Garden was fully replanted from what used to be a mining site. Seeing the lush greenery and silver-leaf lingers as indicators of a healthy ecosystem made me realize that even restored plants can rebuild a strong ecosystem that can support biodiversity. Thirdly, at the Turtle Conservation Centre, I learned about the practical realities of in-situ conservation of sea turtle. Witnessing the dedication and sacrifice of the conservationists there gave me deep respect for the people working tirelessly to protect this species. Overall, this trip increased my awareness of how interconnected conservation really is. Restoring plants support the wildlife attracts public interest, and the public interest fuels conservation action. Because the more that people care, the stronger our collective efforts to protect biodiversity becomes. At every site we visited, each plant and animal species contribute its own ecological significance and conservation value. In Zoo Johor, Himalayan tiger represents a keystone species with high conservation value that can attract public attention, strengthen education efforts, and a symbol to the health of Malaysia's forest ecosystem. Ecologically, it functions as an apex predator that regulates the prey population and maintains balance within the food web. In the botanical garden, we came across with many native plant species with high ecological value. For instance, the penanggal laut prevents erosion by stabilizing the soil and supports pollinators through its nectar-rich flower. All 4 species of sea turtles in Malaysia serve vital ecological roles in our coastal and marine environments. They naturally regulate jellyfish numbers and cycle nutrients between ocean and inshore habitats. When they nest, they fertilize beach ecosystem, supporting diverse coastal species. Firstly, the Department of Wildlife and National Park Perhilitan is the main authority responsible for the wildlife in the Zoo of Malaysia. Its responsibility include enforcing the Wildlife Conservation Act, issuing permits, conducting wildlife monitoring and rescue operations, managing some protected areas, and working with zoos on captive management and ex situ conservation programs. The Department of Fisheries Malaysia (DOF) leads the marine turtle conservation efforts nationwide. At facilities like the Turtle Conservation and Information Centre in Malacca, DOF implements critical protection measures including hatchery management, beach patrol, controlled egg collection practices, and public education initiatives. For implementation, Perhilitan conducts field patrols, rescue and relocation of wildlife, and manage national programs like the Himalayan Tiger Recovery Effort. They also run research and enforce the Wildlife Act. Sea turtle conservation in Malaysia is led by the DOF. Officers and community rangers conduct night patrols, prevent poaching, and relocate eggs to hatcheries at nesting beach. They also record nest data, track incubation and hatching success. The Wildlife Conservation Act 2010 is Malaysia's main law protecting terrestrial wildlife. It listed the species as potentially protected and protected. The Act gives Perhilitan the power to conduct enforcement, seize illegal wildlife, and regulate zoos. With high penalties of up to $1 million, it serves as a strong deterrent against wildlife crime. Sea turtle conservation is governed by the Fisheries Act 1985 and state turtle laws. Under these laws, the Department of Fisheries conduct patrols, relocate eggs to hatcheries, and manage centres like Padang Kemuning, while states like Terengganu and Malacca enforce bans on egg sales and nest disturbance. In my opinion, conservation in Malaysia is getting increasingly difficult because threats like habitat loss, poaching, and illegal wildlife trade are rising faster than our ability to respond. Many species are declining far quicker than we can restore habitats or rebuild their population. Although current efforts are important, they are still not enough to stop biodiversity loss. The Himalayan tiger, with fewer than 150 individuals left in the wild, continues to face poaching and illegal trafficking. Globally, an average of 9 tigers are seized each month, showing how urgent and complex this issue is right now, and why our efforts must be strengthened. To address these challenges, Malaysia must strengthen conservation by boosting enforcement. For example, increasing manpower, funding, and training for rangers so that trafficking can be overcome more effectively. Next, Malaysia must prioritize habitat protection by planning development sustainably. And restoration efforts like the botanical garden should be scaled up nationwide. Lastly, we need stronger public awareness and behavior change. When people understand wildlife's value, they are more likely to report poaching, reject illegal products, and support conservation. For strategies and action plan to increase awareness, the first strategy is to strengthen public education and early stage learning. The action plans include to integrate biodiversity into the school syllabus, implement nationwide school outreach programs, and to provide teacher training workshops. Strategy number 2 is to expand community-based awareness and local engagement. Action plans include develop community ranger programs, organize community events and conservation fairs, and support community-based ecotourism initiatives. Last strategy is to enhance digital outreach and nationwide awareness campaign. The action plans are to launch targeted social media campaign, create an official wildlife crime reporting app, collaborate with influencers, content creators on media. And thanks for watching.